Is it loading yet? Hello, students. Welcome. So, as you can see, this is the CSC 151 replacement assignment for the Access Big Project 2. So, because I've noticed a lot of people don't have Microsoft Access, and because we don't have face-to-face classes anymore in this circumstance, it was either get everyone to go out there and buy the program, which is not what we're going to do, or instead I could just simulate it in Excel, which is what I will be doing. So, you should see this file now up on your Moodle by the time you're watching this video, and it is that long, and I'm just going to go step by step through this, or at least through the instructions of how I want you to look at this and what you want you to do. So first and foremost, right now as you see the name is COVID-19 replacement assignment. First off, put your name on the file somewhere, just anywhere, whether it's in the sheet or right in this general area or maybe up here, just something to put your name in. So part 1 is, here are the databases. I have table 1 and table 2 here. And these are the two tables that you would have seen in Access had you access to Access. I personally blame Microsoft for not making it part of the standard package anymore. They replaced it with OneNote. But then, that's really all you have to do. Just as long as you can read this and understand that these are the fields and these are all the rows, as long as you can understand this, you're good. Because it looks kind of a bit like, data from an Access file. This next part right here, below, is a representation of the tables if you were to try to make a relationship between them. So if I had table 1 and table 2 here, and I wanted to make, a relationship table, so I wanted a line from go to there, or a line from go to there. Basically, please put in a yellow background color on both fields you want to use to create your relationship. So if for whatever reason you want to connect team, so you see I'll just go to the fill here, and I'll say maybe if I want to go fill that to employee ID. Well, I would just make those two yellow. Or maybe if I was going to make my relationship between ID and, pay per hour, that would be what I would make my relationship to. So whatever two ones that you want to be part of the relationship, you put in yellow. At the same time, I also want you to bold anything you want to be your primary key. So let's just say you did have ID to pay per hour, and then you decide, hey, you know what, pay per hour needs to be my primary key. Well, then I'm just going to have to go and bold it. And that would be what you would have to do for this section. So you just have to turn yellow the things that you want to use for your relationship, and if you have a primary key, bold it. And that's all you have to do for part 2. Simple, right? Thus far, figure out what ones you need to connect based on, the information up here. So this is why I have this up here. So let's see here. What was in Boss ID? Oh, Boss ID was in... Okay, that's what Boss ID has in it. What was in Team? Oh, Team, there's what's in Team. So just reading this stuff right up here, figure out which of these... Whoops, cancel. Which of these things you want to connect to each other. So figure out which two sides you want to connect, and then figure out if you want a primary key or not. And decide what those would be. So that's all part 2 is. Part 3 is where we're going to actually put in the code of what we would have done in Access. So below is a representation of my employee query, and I realize I spelled employee incorrectly. Let me just fix that. Employee query, complete with unfinished fields. Now, normally they'd be side by side like this, but I've just done it stacked like this because A, we're not going to be seeing any actual lifetime results happen, and B, we need extra space to type. So, basically, I want you to create the query, create the fields in the query. So imagine if this is all a query, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, of 8 fields long. And I want you to figure out this sort of stuff. So tell me if the employee qualifies for overtime. So if you want to name this one, say, my overtime or whatever, and then, you put in your whatever, and then whatever code you want to do. So if you wanted my overtime to be, I don't know, a field that had the banana field, and you want to multiply that by 45, and then, divide that number by, whatever was in field rainbow, you can do that. Whatever it is you're going to type, whatever you would type these things, like, okay, you know what, maybe this next field then was also, this is, this is porcupine, and porcupine is equal to whatever's in rainbow, and then we're just going to add, my overtime, and then, we'll just, subtract 3. However it is you were going to calculate and put stuff in these fields, whatever you would put in it, I want you to put in these fields, okay? So we know we need one field that's going to tell if the employee qualifies for overtime. Overtime, we're going to assume, is anything over 30 hours. So what would you do? What would you put in a field to calculate if we were over 30 hours? And then the next one is, tell me how many of those hours worked were overtime. How are you going to determine, whatever is in this, hours worked, how are you going to determine if this field right here is greater than 30? How would you figure that out? And what would you put down in there? Your third field is going to calculate the base pay. So, how are you going to calculate how much to pay these people? The fourth field is going to be calculate how much overtime pay they get. For this one, we're assuming that overtime counts as, time and a half. And then, of course, your big grand total, how much do you need to pay them? And remember, if you need any help trying to figure out how to type these sort of things, as I heard the word if, hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod, you can always look at the help videos where I go through and show you in the mini projects what it is to do. Now, for those mini projects themselves, considering many people do not have access or access to Access right now, obviously you cannot create those mini projects. But you can still look at the videos attached to those mini projects in order to understand the concept of what to type in order to make your own code-based query field based on previously existing fields. And then we're going to do the same thing with the bosses in part 4, except the bosses, their overtime starts at 40 hours, and they get paid double. So that's basically it. Once you get all 4 of those parts done, so really what you're going to see is once you get the fields up here, once you get those guys in correctly, mainly all you have to do is just paste the code back in here and then just tweak a few of the numbers. So really, it's not that much different doing here to here. It shouldn't take you that much longer. And that's it. So once you save this, put your name on it, all that sort of fun stuff, and you're happy with it, please submit it through Moodle. If for whatever reason your assignment is not going through Moodle, please email it to me. We will use that as an alternate means of submitting assignments for this one case because of, obviously, the in-face class is not happening right now. So, thank you very much, and you have a great day for everyone that sees this, and yeah, try to submit this in prior to Monday, but I understand if we need a couple of days extra given all these circumstances. Thank you very much. You have a great day. I guess I won't be seeing you in class, but we'll be moving on to HTML, and thankfully we should not have any more compatibility issues with that. So the rest of the class should be able to go on as structured. Thank you very much. You have a great day. Bye-bye.